Welcome everyone. Today I'm gonna mod a Wii. I've modded tons of Wiis over the years, and it's 2019, and methods have changed quite a bit since the early days of modding Wiis. So I'm going to show everyone how I do it in 2019. It's pretty simple to mod a Wii these days, and it's only a couple things you're going to need. I'm going to be using the ModMii method, which basically pretty much automates everything for you. So let's begin. So the first thing you're going to need to download is ModMii, and anything that you're going to need to download for this guide, I will put links in the description below. So let's grab ModMii, and just for reference here, we're going to sourceforge.net/projects/ModMii, and when you get there, you're going to download the latest release, which looks like it's ModMii 6.5.0, and I'm actually surprised that they're still keeping up to date with this. Pretty cool. So anyways, click on that, download it, save it. Next, we need SD memory card formatter. Now, we're going to use this to format the SD card that we're going to be putting in the Wii. Now, you can use Windows. Alright, I've used Windows plenty of times to format SD cards, and it works fine. But there's some SD cards that just don't seem to work right. I've ran across a couple where I've formatted them with Windows, and put all the Wii files that I need on there and everything, put it in my Wii. The Wii detects it, but things just don't seem to run properly or work at all. Excuse me. So then I would try this SD memory card formatter with those troublesome cards, and everything worked great. So I definitely suggest downloading this and using this to format your memory card. So just for reference again, we're going to www.sdcard.org/downloads/formatter_4. Alright, so we'll scroll down here, and we want SD memory card formatter download for Windows/Mac. I'm on Windows here, so that's what I'm going to grab. And then we got to scroll down through all this crap here. Click accept. Save the file. Alright, now we have that. Next step, we want to grab our SD card that we're going to be using in our Wii and put it in the computer. Alright, where is it here? There it is. Alright, so it's there. So like I said, you can use Windows if you want. You can just right click, format. If you're using an SD card that's say 4 gigabytes or larger, FAT32, I would format it to. Anything less, I believe you'll have to do it as a FAT. So like I have a 2 gig drive, or 2 gig SD card that I'm using just for an example in this video. So stick with the FAT here, And you would just do a quick format, you know, put in a label if you want, and click start. But we're not going to use that. We are going to use the SD formatter. So go to wherever you had downloaded that, open it up, and then just extract the setup exe, run it, install it, and you're good to go. So after you've got that installed, let's open it up. Alright, and now with this SD card formatter, you're gonna definitely want to do a overwrite format. So select that. If you've used this program before to format the SD card, you can go with a quick, but if this is the first time using the SD card formatter, definitely go with overwrite format. And over here where it says volume label, you can put whatever you want. That can be unchecked. I'm going to go with quick format because I formatted this card before with this, so I'm going to go and do it. Okay, we are all done there, so close that. Next step, we want to install ModMii. So go to wherever you downloaded that, open that up, and we're just going to extract this somewhere on your computer, somewhere where you can find it. And I already have it extracted here, but I'm going to do it again. So SD card wise, I would suggest I believe the Nintendo Wii accepts up to 32 gig SD card, and if you can get one of those, I would do that, because in this tutorial, instead of using, say, a external USB drive, hard drive, or say a USB thumbstick or something like that to install original Wii games, I'm gonna do it with the SD card. So a 32 gigabyte SD card, I think, would be plenty big enough. You know, you could probably fit a good, depending on the size of the games, you could probably fit, you know, 10 to 15 good Wii games. So, and then if you get sick of those games, you can always, you know, delete one or two and put a couple new ones on. So I'm going to show you guys all that, but that's much later. So anyways, after we have ModMii installed, we can close out all of that. Let's open up our SD card here. Alright, so we got that going. Just to get that prepared, we need to do stuff with that. So anyways, let's open up ModMii. There's two here. There's ModMii EXE, and then there's ModMii Skin. I'm going to use the ModMii Skin because that particular one has like a nice user interface, nice GUI. So let's use that one. Alright, on this first screen, it's going to want you to just basically type I agree. Make sure you type it exactly, otherwise the freaking thing won't let you use it. You gotta close it, reopen it again. So next, okay, choose an activity. We are going to choose this first one here. It says ModMii guide, start here to mod your Wii. Next, and actually you don't even need me for this part because it does actually generate a guide, and you could follow that guide if you want. But I've done this so many times that I don't even use that anymore. Anyways, this is your first time modding a Wii? Yep. select yes. Next. What is your current system version? Alright, so to get that, we're going to go over to our Nintendo Wii, and on our Wii, we're going to select Wii options. Just go into Wii settings here. And up at the top right corner, you should see your system version. Mine says version 4.3U. So I'm going to select 4.3 in ModMii. Next. What is your system menu region? Mine is U for USA, but if you're like PAL or Japan or Korean, select one of those. Click Next. And select the exploit you would like to use to mod your Wii. So they got a few options here, but we want to select the Wii brand diskless. And like, you could use one of these other ones, say for example Super Smash Bros. Brawl. If you have that game, you could use the disc to run the exploit, but I find that the Wii brand diskless method works best. So select that and click Next. Okay, now it wants to know your Wii's MAC address. So back over onto the Wii, we are going to go to page 2 and select Internet and console information. Alright, and then you just type in your Wii's MAC address. And double check it, make sure that that is correct. And if you're satisfied with that, click Next, because this is very important. If you don't put in the right one, it's going to mess things up. So click Next. Alright, select the system menu you would like to upgrade, downgrade to. So we're just going to select 4.3 here. And your Wii should be on 4.3. If it isn't, you should probably upgrade it and stick with 4.3. So anyways, I'm going to continue. Next. Select which of the following channels you would like to install. Honestly, you don't really need any of these things. But if I was to select one, I would go with the internet channel at a minimum, at the most, because then you can use, you know, you can get on the internet and browse with their freaking browse the internet with their crappy internet browser, but it's better than nothing. These other channels here, I mean, they're just, you don't need it. It's garbage. Garbo. Next. Would you like to install a custom theme on your Wii? You can, but I'm going to select no, because it's just more junk that they're going to be throwing on your system here. So I would advise against it. Just stick with the same old boring system menu. It's less crap on the system that they're fucking with. So no. Next. Would you like to set up a USB loader now? So select no here, because we're going to go over that later. And then it says select where you want to save the files of your SD card. I mean, we could do it right onto your SD right now, but I like to save these files as a backup. So I already have something typed out here. I got it saved into the desktop in a folder called poop. So that's where I'm going to put mine, but you can browse, click this browse button. You could just put it on the desktop, you know, click OK, and then just type in type in a folder, so P-O, poop, next. Confirm your settings are correct and click finish. Okay, we can do that. Click finish. Alright, it's gonna download a bunch of files here. I believe it's like 40 something files that's gonna download. And it generates like this kind of guide. I mean, if you're having problems, you can run through this guide here, but you don't need it. But anyway, so it's all done downloading. So click finish. And what do we want to do here? We just want to close this out because we are done. So now, minimize that. Bring up our poop folder. Bring these back up because I'm probably gonna need to use those. Okay. So open up the folder where it put all those files. And like I said, you're probably going to want to save this because who knows how long ModMii will work. I mean, I'm actually surprised they're still updating it today, but essentially that program finds all the ISO files that it needs to download and install on your system, and it downloads them all, but at some point, someday, it may not work. It may not be able to find all the files. So if you save everything, and then, you know, a few years from now you decide you want to mod another Wii or something, and the program's not working, it's not downloading all the ISOs that you need, no big deal. You have them all. The only thing, you could run the program, and the only thing that you would need to replace is the private folder, which has, I believe it has your MAC address and information and stuff in there, and everything else would be the same. So yeah, you keep that as a backup just for the future, just in case you want to do this again. But anyways, we're going to take all this crap. You don't need those guides, so we'll just copy those, drag those right over to the main directory onto your SD card. Alright, everything is good to go. So we can close that. Let's exit out, eject our SD card. Alright, so now we can take that SD card and we're going to pop it into the Wii. And now back over on the Wii, you should still be on your MAC address screen, so just click back, and back. And we're on the main system menu here, and just click on the Wii message board, this little envelope over here. And if you go back like a day or two. Oh, there it is. So you go back a day or two, you should God damn it, you should see it. It's freaking remote. There we go. So anyways, you want to click on that. And this should start up HackMii. There it is. So it'll be stuck on this screen for like 30 seconds. It makes you look at the screen for like 30 seconds before you can do anything, because it's just telling you that don't spend money on this, blah blah blah. If you're if you're having problems like where the letter with the bomb isn't showing up, there's a couple things you could check. Like, for example, make sure the time and date on your Wii is set correctly. It could possibly be the SD card. I've had some SD cards, even though you've used the SD card formatter tool to format it, it still may not function 100% correctly. So just try a different SD card. So those are some things that you can do if you can't get this to come up. Anyways, so press 1. Alright, so what we want to do here is just, let's see, let's go over this. It says the homebrew channel can be installed, and then it says ModMii can only be installed as an iOS. Now if you have like one of the original Wii's, you know, like the launch models, it might tell you that you can install ModMii as boot 2, which, I mean, it's basically the same as installing it as an iOS, except there's like a little bit more protection from like bricking your Wii. You get a little bit more safety out of using that method. So if you're one to have that option where you can install it as boot 2, then definitely do that. So anyways, click continue here, and we're going to first install the homebrew channel, so click on that. Yes to continue. Success, continue. Now we'll go down to ModMii and install ModMii as iOS. If you have the boot 2 option, go ahead and select that one. Click yes to continue. Click yes to continue. Success. We are done. Alright, so now just return to the main menu here. Click exit. And the homebrew channel should now show up. So here we are on the homebrew channel. And what is next? We want to do the iOS 236 installer, so click on this one, click on load. It's going to do some stuff. It's installing. Installation is complete, and it's going to automatically bring us back to the homebrew channel. Next, we want to go to the preloader 236 mod. So this one right here. Click on load. Alrighty. Press +/A to install or update preloader. So do that. So I'm just going to press plus here because you don't need to press A. Done. Next, we want to go to the multi-mod manager, this one up here at the top, and we're going to be using this to install all those iOS files that ModMii downloaded. So once you're in here, you're going to go to WAD Manager, and you'll see there's a ton. I think there's like over 40 iOS files and some other various things. So it does, even though you selected you didn't want to go over the USB loader, it still includes that channel, USB loader channel. So we're going to need that anyway, so we're going to select all of these. And to do that, we're going to press 1 to install all WADs in folder. This just makes it quicker rather than just selecting each one at a time. So click 1 on your Wii controller, and that marks them all for install, and then press A to proceed. Alright, so it's gonna take a little while. There are 46 files that it's going to install. So I will pause this video here, and I'll be back when it's just about finished. Alright, we are back, and this has finished downloading all installing all 46 files. It completed successfully. Everything's good to go. Press any button to continue. And let's see, so back on here, hit the home button again, and this should bring us back to the homebrew channel. And from here we can exit to the system menu. So hit the home button and exit to system menu. Alrighty. So here we are back at the system menu, and as you can see, we've got the homebrew channel is showing up. We got the internet channel that we chose, and we have a USB loader channel here that we will go over how to use that. So basically, at this point, you're done modding your Wii, and now you want to put the fun, cool stuff on it. So we're going to go over how to install Virtual Console games. We can install those right onto the system menu here, or better yet, we'll go over how to install the what are they? There's Virtual Console, and there is oh yeah, the WiiWare games. So I mean, you probably want to stay away from the Virtual Console, because if you end up installing say emulators, you won't really need any of the Virtual Console games. But as for WiiWare games, yeah, some of these games are exclusive to the Wii, and you can't really get them anywhere else. So yeah, you might be interested in installing some of the WiiWare games. So we're going to go over that. We're going to go over how to install emulators, and then we're going to go over how to set up the USB loader, but we're not going to be using a external USB hard drive. We're going to just be using the SD card. But we'll go over all that. So first, let's now that we're done modding our Wii, let's take the SD card out, and we're going to put that back into our computer. Alright, and so over here on your SD card, you can go ahead and let's open up the WAD folder here, and you can delete all of these out. You don't need those anymore. You can delete those all out. Plus, you have backups of all this stuff, should you want to mess with it later. And as far as apps, I mean, you can leave them here. They're really not taking up much space. Yeah, go ahead, leave those all there. No big deal. Alright, so let's install a WiiWare game. So basically, you can find WiiWare games to download on the internet. Just search for WiiWare collection or torrent or something. Anyways, I got one here all ready to go. So when you download them, you might get, let's see, I have a collection here, and I don't have all the WiiWare games in this collection, but there's it's a nice plethora of games. How many are in here? 67 games are in here, so that's pretty good. So I'm just going to show you one. So open up that WAD folder again, And the WiiWare game should come with a .wad extension. So you just drag and drop it into the WAD folder. And now that game's ready to install on your Wii. So let's close that out. Let's eject our SD card. And let's pop this back into our Wii. Alright. So now over here back at our Wii, we're going to select the homebrew channel. Click on Start. And we're going to go back to the multi-mod manager. Click on Load. We're going back to the WAD manager, and you'll see that our World of Goo is there and ready to be installed. So just mark it for install. Click plus. Click A. Press A to proceed. And this shouldn't take too long. And then we will test it out and make sure it works. So everything's going pretty smoothly here. It's pretty easy. Pretty easy to mod Wiis. It was pretty easy even back in the early days. Nothing like the original Xbox back in the early days. Oh my god, that was crazy. But the original Xbox is easy now too. Alright, anyways, that has completed successfully. Press any button to continue. Alright. Let's hit the home button again. Alright, back at the homebrew channel, click the home button again. We're going to exit to the system menu. And we should see our World of Goo channel show up here. And there it is. So let's make sure it works. World of Goo, click on that. Click Start. And there it is. Awesome. So that works. So I'm just going to hit the home button. We're going to go back to the Wii menu. Yes. Alright, so that is how you would install WiiWare games or even, say, Virtual Console games. So, next step, let's take our SD card out of the Wii again. Place it back into the computer. Alright, and next let's go over how to install an emulator. So, let me let's go back here. Okay. So, emulators. I know I got one around somewhere. Okay. So we're going to go over how to install the SNES emulator. So I have two files here, and I will include those. You can download this exact one. I'll put the links in the description below. So first, let's open up the SNES 9X GX file. Open that one up, and there's two folders in here, so we're just gonna take those, drag them right over to the main directory of our SD card. Okay, close that one out. Next, we're gonna open up the SNES 9X GX channel installer. You don't have to have this, but it just makes it easier. So just grab the apps folder, and again just drag and drop it into the main directory here, and we're good to go. So now over on our SD card, you should have, in the main directory, you should have a folder called SNES 9X GX. And there's some crap in there. And then in the apps folder, we should have two more folders, SNES 9X GX and the SNES channel installer. Alright, so now we may as well pop on a couple ROMs while we are here. So let's get rid of the poop folder. We don't need that no more. Let's see. Wii emulators. Okay, those are just emulators. Let me find my ROMs here. Nintendo, SNES ROMs. Alright, so same thing. You can find ROMs all over the internet. So download your ROMs, and then when you have those, over on the SD card, you're going to go into the SNES 9X GX folder that is on the main directory of your SD card. And in there, you should see a folder called ROMs. Click on that. And then you're just going to drag and drop your ROMs over to that. So let me pick out a couple ROMs here. Alright, that's enough. I'm not going to go crazy. Alright, so we've got a couple ROMs. So now we can close that out. Let's eject our SD card. And let's put that back into our Wii. And I'll go over how to install this and how to use it. Alright, so over back on the Wii, we're going to go into the homebrew channel. And come on controller. There we go. Click start. So for this particular emulator anyways, you can actually run it right from here where it says SNES 9X GX Super Nintendo Emulator. If you click on that and click load, that will just load up the emulator. But we want to install the channel, which makes it easier because this will put a channel right up onto the main system menu. So let's click on that. SNES 9X GX channel installer, load it. And it's loading. And it'll ask you, do you want to install this channel? Just click install. Okay, channel installed successfully. Click OK, and it should bring you back to the homebrew channel. Alright, so from here, we'll just click the home button, exit to system menu, and now on the main system menu here, we should see our Super Nintendo emulator channel. Alright, there it is. So it's easier because all you gotta do is, click that, click start, and it starts up the emulator, whereas the other way you'd have to go, you have to go into the homebrew channel and find the emulator in there. So anyways, that loads up, and as you can see here, it's detecting all my ROMs that I put on. So let's load one up here. Let's load up Super Metroid. And as you can see, it just boom, loads it right up. Pretty awesome. So that's how you install emulators. Next step, let's get out of here. Let's go back to the main menu. Okay, let's exit. Alright, we are back at the main menu. So now let's go over how to install actual Wii games. So take your SD card out. Oops, I dropped my shit. Alright. Put it back into your computer. Alright. So here we have our SD card. And let's minimize that. Alright. Let's install a USB loader. So I already have one here. I got this one pretty much all set up, and this one is good for what we want to use it for. It's a good loader. It's a good solid loader. So it says SD/USB loader, and basically all we want to do is grab these two folders, drag and drop it into the main directory of your SD card. I have images for the games and stuff. Not all the games, but a good handful of games there's images for, and that's why it's like 30 megabytes right now. But I will leave a link in the description for this one so you can download it and do exactly what I'm doing here. Alright, so over on your SD card in the main directory, you should now have a folder called USB loader, and in the apps folder there should be one called USB loader _CFG. Alright, so now back in the main directory of your SD card, we're going to create a folder. This is where we're going to put our actual Wii games. So right click, new folder, and we're going to call it WBFS, because basically that is, we're going to call it that because that's the file format that we need these games to be in order for them to work. Let me find a game here. Downloads, let's see, Nintendo Wii games. Okay, so for example, I have two different types of games here. I have one that's in WBFS format, and then I have one that is an ISO. So an ISO game is not going to work with this method. You could burn like an ISO. You can burn it onto a DVD or whatever, and that'll work fine in your Wii. But it will not work fine to run it off of a USB hard drive or an SD card. So don't download those. What you want is WBFS format, and so just search the internet for, say you want Mario Kart. Just search like Mario Kart WBFS torrent or something, and I'm sure you'll find it. Anyways, I got a really small, tiny game here. It's called Gravity, and as you can see, it's WBFS format. So what you want to do is just open up that WBFS folder that you created, and then grab your game here, Gravity, and then it has a bunch of letters after it. Just drag and drop that right into the WBFS folder, and you're basically good to go now. So let's close that. Let's eject our SD card again. All right. Put it into your Wii. And now let's click on the USB loader. So over on the Wii, click on that USB loader, click Start. Okay. Alright, so when it first loads up, it's going to be looking for a USB mass storage device. It's not going to find it. So just click A to select another device. Unless you want to use an external USB hard drive, or you can use like a USB thumb drive. You can use either one of those. You set it up exactly the same way. Just create a folder, WBFS, and put all your games in it, and it should work fine. But for this tutorial, I'm just using the SD card because, like I said, man, it's just go out, buy a 32 gig SD card. I'm pretty sure that's the max size you can use on an original Nintendo Wii. So 32 gig, it'll fit a bunch of games, man. At least all the ones that most people would want to play. Anyways, so on this screen here, we're just gonna, on the D-pad, we're just gonna click over to the right where it says USB mass storage device. We're gonna click over to the right, and it should say SDHC card. That's what you want if you're using an SD card. So click A to continue, and there it is. Now it detects our game. So unfortunately I only have one game here, but when you get like 15-20 games on here, and you can fit probably 15-20 games on an SD card, because a lot of them are small. Like Gravity's 100 megabytes. The new Super Mario Brothers Wii is only like a few hundred megabytes. So you can fit it. You can fit a decent number of games on a 32 gig SD card. Anyways, at this point, what you want to do if you're using the SD card method that I am, you're just going to go down here, you're going to click Settings, and you want to go into System, and it says Device SD, and you have to save that. Otherwise, every time you start up the USB loader, it's gonna try looking for a USB device rather than an SD card. So just click Save Settings, and it saves it. Press any button to continue. And now let's just make sure that works. So let's exit out of here. Alright, back on the main system menu, we're going to click on the USB loader again. And it should just automatically bring us right in to where our games are. Great. Alright, so it detects, now it's looking for all the games on the SD card. So let's make sure this game works. Alrighty, wonderful. So you click on the game, click Start, and it should load up the game. There it is. So that is how you install original Nintendo Wii games. Let this load up here. Alright, we'll go back to the Wii menu. Gravity's actually a pretty fun game. It's a pretty poor port, but it's a pretty cool little like puzzle game. So that is it. We're all done. That's how you mod your Wii. That's how you install WiiWare games. That's how you install emulators, and that's how you set up and install original Wii games with a USB loader. That's pretty much it. We are done now with this guide. Pretty simple. And thank you for watching, and we'll see you again in the next video.